Appreciate y'all. Appreciate y'all coming in. Appreciate y'all liking the live. Let my hair out because I need a retwist. It's retwist season. It's retwist season for your boy. Let me get this up here. Said about damn time. What up, Papita? What's happening with you? I know I do need to get on more, man, more often. I bring a different type of energy to the game on, and I love all the other live streams as well. But it's definitely a little bit something different over here. And I'm not just talking just the teaching, your boy be clowning. Your boy be clowning. What am I trying to do? Oh, I'm trying to get my other screen up here. What's up, Tay? Tay the God. What's happening? The goddess, I'm sorry. What's happening, Tay? Lonnie Dorn said, ain't seen you in a minute. Nice setup. Appreciate that, Lonnie. Yeah, I know. I'm starting to come back in here. What's up, Swarthy? Homeboy Swarthy in the building. Yeah, I'm starting to get back up in here. Let me get this screen up here. Starting to go back live more, than I was. Like I kind of have a good process now that I'm going to be doing where I don't have to give up on the live stream so much. Well, I mean, I ain't gonna lie. It's also it's a busy time of the season in my business, and man, I'm like, what am I trying to do? I'm trying to talk to y'all, but oh yeah, whole time I'm looking at this screen trying to get something to come up, trying to get my iPad to come up. That's what I was trying to do. Okay, here we go. Okay. Yeah, I know I gotta get the real setup going. All right, there we go. Where your boys in the box. That's what she said. Um what up, crew? What up, Indigenous American? Yeah, man. We gonna get into some of this information. You know what I mean? And if one of these haters come up in here, I didn't come up here and get clowned as well. I ain't clowned a troll in a while, so it would be nice to clown a troll. I've clowned a few trolls on other people's live streams. I have done that. I ain't gonna lie about that. Let me try to center myself in the frame. There we go. Yeah, man. So what's happening? Uh what's up, Dream? Say hey, thanks, I am. What's happening with you? Yeah, we in the game. We in the building this afternoon, almost evening time, where I guess I don't know when evening is official. I thought it was 6 o'clock, but yeah, boy, don't really know. So yeah, we gonna get into this information. Look at some of the stuff I've been looking at, though. You know what I'm saying? Just look at some. Whoops. Hold on, let me give them a little whatever out. As we get people up in here, I'm gonna kind of like show y'all some random things. Some of this stuff we will be talking about today, and some of this stuff, just kind of random stuff I've been kind of looking at to give people some time to kind of come up in here. What's up, Kawhi? What's happening with your piece? Happy Monday, y'all. I hope y'all got your mom something cool and decent. If you don't talk to your mom, I understand there's relationships like that out there, but hopefully y'all mend it. Me and my mom had a little rough patch for some time, but we've gotten way closer. In fact, uh, I love our conversations. I mean, we always used to have some long conversations, and then when we had our little falling out for not forever. Um, it was one of those things that when we came back together and really connected, we realized how much not only in common that we have, and how much I feel like I know I get my intellectual abilities from my mom. My dad, he's cool. I get my style, my like he dresses up. He loves cars. I get my love of cars from my pops. My chief habit like crazy. We do the exact same things. He smoke papers, I smoke papers. And these are things that just happen. Like he wasn't in my life forever. In fact, he wasn't even in my life the first like 10, 11, 12 years. My mom, I had like a stepdad. That's a whole nother hood story, right? But But long story short, it's like the your DNA, you get a lot of the, like, you become a lot of your parents, and you a lot of you is most both parts of them amplified, if hopefully so, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm thinking about my brother and my sister, you know. I think I took all the good part. Let me shut up. Let me shut up. Okay. But some of y'all think of that about your siblings now. Come on now, because we the smart ones up in here. Y'all know y'all siblings, some of them ain't they ain't quite up there on the game like y'all are on this stuff, right? You know what I'm saying? Some of it be that way. What's up, Nikki? She said, I say the same. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Said not the good parts. Why is this going off already? Messing with me. So yeah. Yeah. So like when my mom, like, as I'm feeding her this new information that I'm finding, and how typically people will like shy away from it, or they'll be quiet about it. You know, when you tell your people some new information, as long as you ain't going against some of their core things, like, luckily, like, I didn't go into the religion stuff too much because that's one of her core things. Now, when I kind of slightly tap into things like mentioning things about Indians and Hebrew languages and stuff, she gets curious, but I don't tap crazily into it, or I got my ways on introducing certain things about it. Because, like, I'll tell people that are highly religious, I'm like, look, man, you don't, just because I tell you that our family was Indians doesn't mean you have to give up your whole Christian beliefs or whatever. I mean, you should, but don't mean you got to. I want you to understand that a lot of those practices were practiced by our people in the past before too. Hey, what's up? Natural groceries. This like a healthy grocery store. Yeah. Well, you can make a list and text it. I ain't gonna be remember none of that shit. What's up, Phoenix? Whoop. Hold on, y'all. Whoops. 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 I done called my mom twice. Hold up. What is wrong with me? Hold on, y'all. Give me 2 more seconds, y'all. That's what you get for talking. Hey, my bad. My cheek hit the phone. I'm on this live stream though. That's what I was saying. What's up to my folks? No, they got all that too. All right, hit me up with the list. I'm on this live stream. I'll hit you back. All right, bye. All right, my bad, y'all. All right, all right, all right. I ain't even gonna say nothing. So yeah, man, I'm just gonna get back into my other conversation, into the live stream. But what's up, Phoenix? I see Phoenix show up in here. Shout out to the queen, or not queen. I'm sorry, to the matriarch. I definitely gotta get that word queen out of my head. Shout out to the matriarch. Uh, I said spoke his mama up. Yeah, I done called her twice. So yeah, but so like my intellectual like shit comes from my mom. Like when I'm introducing this stuff to her, she really starts to ask a lot of questions. She gets upset. You know what I'm saying? She starts, as I'm explaining what's going on, she'll postulate what she thinks I'm saying, like, are you telling me that they're trying to such and such and such and such? I said, you think you're right, mama. You think you're right. You know what I'm saying? And so you never know, man. You can have great conversations with your folks and all that stuff, man. So yeah, we're gonna get into this game, man. Said my condolence. My consciousness comes from my dad. Oh, that's what's up, Swarthy. Yeah, see, my dad. I wish like neither one of my mom or my dad are on the consciousness tip, but my dad, I will say, I my my entrepreneurial spirit kind of comes from him. Like he's a worker bee in a sense. You know what, I say that, but I don't know. I mean, yeah, he's always had like his own little lawn care business and shit like that. But he just always lived in his. He had a. I'm gonna tell y'all this, man. His mom, my grandma, had back in the day, and it's not like they live or whatever. They live on the east side, Oklahoma City, somewhat, hood area, but they moved there long ago. And I asked my dad, like, how did you get this house? He was like, my mom bought us all a house back in the day. She bought all of y'all houses. Their mom, my grandma, Diane, she bought all of them houses with her money well before she passed. He was like, this was when she was young. And I was like, what did she do? You know what? I need to ask you more questions. Like, where did she get all that bread? I think he told me like something, but I can't remember what. But yeah, she bought all of them houses. So he been living in that house ever since. And that's ever since I've known him since a kid. So like he don't have the need to my bad, I had accidentally hit you. All right. Bet. Um So he had told me, let me make sure I'm gonna keep going, but let me just make sure I'm good on the apps with the sound and shit. He had told me that what was I saying? He told me something. I don't think I was even on that saying he told me. I think I was saying okay, yeah, I'm good there. All right. Oh, I hear my computer heating up. Hold up. We're gonna get into this game. I'm talking and talking and talking. What's up, Roach Sheffley over there on the YouTube side? I see you. I'm just showing back up over there. Appreciate you coming up in. We about to really get into it, y'all. So yeah, Nikki said my grandmother bought all of her siblings and her children houses and land with all her own money. That's wild. Everything was in a 3 block radius of a house. See, and that's kind of how it is. Like my dad stays in the same neighborhood. His brother, my uncle Timmy, and my uncle Freeman had a house on in there, and also I think Diane might have had a house there, or and not. I think Sela ended up not. I don't know how she was married to somebody, so I think she might have got a house somewhere else. But they're all in that same neighborhood, right there across the street from Douglas High School, and and she got them all homes. You know what I'm saying? Before, and so they've been really living off of free rent for forever. Lucky asses, you know what I'm saying? Lucky bastards. I don't want to say it like that. That's my folks, but like y'all know how long we've been paying rent. I'm in my 40s, 42, about to be 43 this year, next month. And been paying rent since goddamn 18. Okay. I ain't faulted a month, and that's every 30 days. Boy, that shit do 30 days like clockwork. You know what I'm saying? Y'all know how it is, man. So we about to really get into this game. As y'all can see, I've showed y'all some of the things that I kind of have here. Let me turn the AC on because it's kind of hot up in here. But I've showed y'all. So this is a Supreme Court case of the Yuchi tribe, and notice this spelling in there, the Yuchi. Why you? So they got the original tribe, right? And then you come down here. It also says the Creek Nation of Oklahoma. The Creek Nation of Oklahoma down here. I put it in a different color. Creek Nation of Oklahoma. And so I've been through this, and just to kind of show y'all a couple of things, and then we're gonna get into the real, because today's thing is gonna be like about, is Yuchi Billy and Billy Bowlegs the same person? I still don't know 100%, but we about to look into some of these receipts and postulate even further what the hell we think. But inside of this Supreme Court case, a couple of things I noticed is, like I've been telling people of what a creek is. Notice where they say where there's a creek, it says it's a so-called creek. They continuously say so-called creek, and we know what that means, right? We use the so-called phrase consistently over in this bitch, right? The so-called this, the so-called that, because that's not what it's really called. That's exactly what they're saying. And they're talking about the Yuchi tribe here. Okay. And let me just get to another thing where it kind of breaks that down a little further in this case right here. Is this it? Or was, let's see, hold up. Try what? Yeah, yeah, I think that's it right there. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I also want you to notice the word kings being referred to. We were kings, right? So this is definitely going in the "we was kings" folder of information that I got. In fact, they say it multiple times. Here's another one right here. Let me throw it to you like this. Put this right here. Now this is in the Supreme Court case. So this is the Supreme Court, either judges or whoever the hell wrote this bitch up, saying, hey, the treaty was signed by certain the treaty was signed by certain kings, chiefs, and warriors. So they're acknowledging we was goddamn kings. And then you got to ask another question. What's the other question you got to ask? How come you've never heard a Siberian, white Spaniard, Filipino looking, Middle Eastern looking, Native American? How come you've never heard them say that they had kings before? Huh? Did they forget? Did they forget that they was kings too? With now that talking shit about we was kings. Yeah, let's continue to keep that moniker. If they say we was kings, yes, we was. You can confidently say, because think about it like this. In the past, what's up on code? I see you down there. In the past, when we thought about the we was kings thing, I don't know if you were like me. The only kings I could really think of was some Egyptian kings or something, right? That I just got to be honest with you. I don't know what the hell they was talking about, but that's what I figured too. I was like, maybe we was some Egyptian kings, you know what I'm saying? Even though they didn't call that nigga King Osiris. Now that I think about it, they didn't call her what's that, Queen Isis. I just heard Isis. I just heard Ra. I didn't heard King Ra. No, I don't remember hearing that now that I think about it. But why did my head go there? I don't know if it's pre-programming or what. It's like, I think that's really what it is. It's like you're hit with a idea or a question or something about the Kings thing, and your mind starts to search through just what has been fed to it to try to formulate some kind of idea instead of looking this shit up. But this is kind of hard to look up. Like it's not easy to find like the connection to us being kings, because of course you got to go through layers of bullshit programming. What is that? First you got to get through the we were slaves narrative, right? Then you got through a layer. Then you got to get through the layer of I wasn't necessarily no African layer, right? And then I'm just now getting through the layer of Egypt ain't got no goddamn kings and queens. I don't remember that layer. Then you get to some Indians layer, and you still don't know that there's kings and queens exist, because the whole propaganda out there about Indians is some primitive shit. It's not like I don't know. I don't even know. Like, to get to this level of being able to connect the kings thing to us being actual, I don't think there's really much out there African that I seen that would say like we was kings. I don't know why that switched. Hold up. There you go. But yeah, every Pan African that has ever came up with their little ideas and their little bullshit about us being kings and queens, they never, now that I think about it, they never really say who the fuck those kings and queens are. I'm like, maybe like Hatshepsut or Olga, but no, I never heard the word king or queen in front of neither one of those. You know what I'm saying? The only kings and queens I can really think of prior to this would be the monarchs of Europe, right? And that's supposed to be hated, and that's already been whitewashed to be damned to us. You know what I'm saying? So you're not even trying to connect that, which there's likely some possible connections there too. But we wouldn't even connect that layer because that layer is whitewashed. I mean, they have layered us the fuck up with propaganda and lies, man. So like here we are at a point to where we can finally go through, not just me, y'all too, going through these books, going through these newspapers, going through these archives, going through these records, and literally reconstructing this bitch back to the bullshit reconstruction they did. From the bullshit reconstruction they did, right? So that's my little tangent about that on the king shit. You know what I'm saying? But that's in a Supreme Court document from 1940 something. 1956 right there for you, for those who need a date. So up until that point, they still knew niggas was kings. And even in here, it says there was a large African, of course, they're gonna use that African presence within this Creek tribe, which means what you're saying, the Uchees are African? Okay. What's up, Alicia Faye? I said, as a matter of fact, they made fun of us for calling ourselves kings and queens. Exactly, exactly. And they never knew, we would probably even really finally make the real connections that we was kings and queens in this bitch right here. Now, I had been thinking about it like that for a minute, but you think about just chiefs, caciques, because that's what they give us. But I mean, we've seen, and let me show you, because some people haven't seen it. We have been known as kings and emperors, and that even more so makes those drawings in Germany of the allegory of the continents, where we have on crowns and we looking like royalty. Rome, toga wearing royalty as Indians with our hair and everything. Like it all comes, it's like, damn, you know what I'm saying? And like I was telling my mom, I was talking a little bit about it to her. I was telling her, yeah, this one right here. Yep, right here. This is it right here. I was telling her that we got kings and queens today. We just don't use the terms. LeBron James is the king of the James tribe, in a sense, right? He's the nigga. He can give that family so much wealth and everybody so much wealth. Same thing with many other ball players, many actors, many things, and people want to use it against us that we can use our talent to make money. That's literally having to not mine a thing, having to not uh uh manufacture a thing. We don't have to resupply a thing. A nigga can just be a nigga and get the bread, nigga. That's what the entertainment shit is about. Nigga, I could just be me and rap these lyrics for your ass. I should kind of, I kind of slowed it down. I was like, maybe I should kind of calm down before I get a restriction. But I haven't been really getting restricted because probably I'm not really having like panels and cussing nobody out. But yeah, we could just be who the hell the fuck we be, and niggas got people come about like, who the hell that nigga is? Can I buy that music off you, nigga? Hell yeah, you can. You can't make this shit. What you gonna listen to? What you would make? Hell no. Come get the shit, okay? We can sit there and make money off of that, and they want to laugh at you. Oh, you're entertainment to us, Negroes. You're just entertainment. Yes. And you give up the bread, a lot of it, as we entertain you. In order for you to get money, you're gonna have to do some pillaging, some unearthing the scavenging the earth for minerals and resources and whatever the case may be, and figure out ways to contract people and get people into other contracts and fuck people over with stocks and bonds and everything. You're doing all this other, we nigga will wake up, smoke one real quick, rap a couple raps in a microphone. And if he get himself out there enough, the nigga might outwork your ass, outperform your ass in life monetarily. So yeah, we have kings, okay, but also we had emperors, as you see the word, the emperor of the Cherokees. Let me take, God damn it. swear this thing. It's gonna piss me off. I don't know if it's because it's in the case. Okay, now it should be coming back on. Should be coming back on. There we go. Voila. So yeah, let's get back to this. So yeah. So we got kings and queens in every city, in every state, in many cities, if not every city. Just like other people do too. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying we the only ones, but I'm just saying rich, highly rich people are the kings of they folks. You know what I'm saying? So that would be somewhat similar here. Like I told my mom too, I said, yeah, it's not called a castle now, it's called a 26-bedroom mansion. But a 26-bedroom mansion is a damn castle, okay? Just because it ain't got the steeples and old world architecture, because they done took that from us, right? But just because it ain't got the steeples and all the little whatevers, don't mean it ain't a castle. That's that nigga's castle. Rick Ross has a castle. Okay, all these folks got castles. Shit, tell them something different. All right, so now we gonna move on to the you know what? Am I? I don't know if he's in here right now. If Let me see if he's in here real quick. What's his name? Um. Oh yeah, Jay Lamont. If you want to come up here, Jay Lamont, before I get the cooking real good and show your source, Jay Lamont wanted to show a couple of sources about Afro, and I kind of do want to touch on this Afro thing or fro because personally, as I thought about it today, I never really hardly can think of many times that I used the full term afro before. I have always said fro. Man, I'm out here. I got my fro going because there was many times I did have a fro, especially before I grew it when I was growing this out. And I remember going out in Deep Ellum one time and I had that motherfucking fro sitting out so fucking a big boy. Everybody was just, I was getting compliments all over the place just for the fro. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, it makes me wonder, should we go back to wearing the fro? But if we all did it, then it wouldn't be a thing that people would, you know what I'm saying, be giving you compliments for. They would see it every day. But when you do it, when you start off like a little small fro, ain't nobody really giving you too much. But let that bitch get out about right here. You know what I'm saying? Let that bitch get out there. People are gonna say something to you. People are gonna be like, I see, I'm about to bring you up. People are gonna say something to you. People are gonna give you props. People are gonna, because it's something that they can't do. It's something they don't see every day, and especially when it's way out there. It's like, how the hell is that motherfucker out there and just stuck and suspended? It ain't going down. You know what I'm saying? It's just there in circular. Boy, they love to hate it. What's up with you, Jay Lamont? Oh, not too much, man.
Yeah, I was just I was just doing a little snooping over in the newspapers, and I know as you saw earlier, I came to found that I got firsthand account of an actual African from Biafra, literally making a clear distinction between things such as the dashiki and just our wear as BOK Americans, and also them clearly as Africans, and just making a clear distinction of who we are versus who they are. But I have another interesting one where it talks about how the Afro was actually banned in Ethiopia, Tanzania, and another spot. And then what I realized, I found several laws and regulations regarding like how our dress would have been in the 60s and the 70s. It would have been outlawed in places like Sierra Leone, Tanzania, Uganda, and several other places. And I even to the point where like the dress code, it shows like bell bottoms and all that was almost stopping like import to certain portions of Africa due to the
Mm.
regulations. So It's all up to you. I can be real quick. I can just throw you three, and then I can also just show you the Sierra Leone law from 1965, if you want.
Yeah, no. So I'm gonna have you get up here. I'm gonna swap you out and have you show that. So go ahead and pull it up. And I'm gonna say a couple of things while you get that pulled up. So think about it like this, y'all. And this is something I thought about, and I told Penn and Civilized Native and who else was up in there? Soul Food was in there, and a couple other people were in there. But I told them we got to do a documentary about this because they take and use the first of all they take the word Afro, which never meant African, and I'm about to break. We about to break down. Thanks to highly advanced, I didn't even realize the word fro. That's why I was getting at with the word fro. How much I've said fro, and I for a minute, I thought that maybe I was just shortening the word just to be cool, right? But really, fro is what it is. It's not afro. It's a fro, or we are froing out our hair, or what is fro? So I had when you go to look up what fro is real quick on I have the I thought I saved a little etymology of it up here, but let me pull it up. I'm gonna have you get up here in just a second when you get your what you call it up.
All right. Yeah, I'm
Uh
actually working on it now.
cool. I'm gonna just give them a little backstory. So when you look up what a fro is, away, backwards, away. When somebody's saying they're going to and fro, we'll go to and fro. To is going towards, fro is going away. Our hair froze away from our head. Now it makes sense. Oh, it is a fro hairstyle. Your hair literally going away from your head and being suspended, and nobody's can do that because as theirs goes away it continuously falls, or it always falls. You know what I'm saying? Um so it is a fro. Now knowing that the hairstyle and the word is a fro, just the word fro, I'm gonna stop saying that. I'm gonna say the word fro. Now we know fro has nothing to do with Africa, right? So if because the only reason why they say Afro is African is because the niggas try to make it sound similar, but the word is not Afro, it's fro. So once you completely broken that, then you got to start thinking how they take the word Afro, which is not even African or even a word, it's a phrase or a couple of words put together, but it's a fro and it has nothing to do with Africa. Now they take when they say Afro beats, you're really fucking up because now you're taking a term from an American hairstyle with the word a, acting like it means African, putting it in front of a phrase like beats, which we were the ones that made beats. We was the one that call it beats. Beats is an American fucking word. They don't call tapping on goddamn bullshit in their country beats. I'm the one that grew up when I was a kid hearing Timberland and other people, them starting to make beats and getting into that game and whatever. Those were some of the people, and Dr. Dre and Pharrell and them. Those were some of my people I looked up to when I started first started making beats as a fucking 10 year old kid. You know what I'm saying? And making beats was different than actually being an instrumentalist. Now, being an instrumentalist is an amazing thing because yeah, you're playing full songs, but typically you play a piano. The other place to play this, you had your band thing. But when beats came around, it was really more so making loops, making really dope melodic loops that you can loop into full songs and still make full transit because you would transition into choruses and things and that instruments in and out, but still you would be making loops for the most part. And that would be what your beats are. Yeah, they say beats is also hitting the table, but I ain't really when people say kick that beat, you would actually kick a beat with your mouth, and usually you would throw a little bit of melody on that shit. And I used to also do that as a kid when I was in my goddamn elementary school days. And niggas want you to hit the beat all the time. Okay, so there's no way that Afros can make or Africans can make any beats because that's not even neither one of the fucking words are they words. Afro ain't nothing African, beats ain't nothing got nothing to do with African, and everything that they try to use Afro for now, they be like I'm Afro. They say that I'm Afro UK or Afro British. You can't be Afro British, nigga. Okay, Y'all niggas ain't got afros and it's a fro and it ain't got nothing to do with Africa. You just a British African, okay? These people are fucking crazy because there's a dude talking about he's an African cowboy. Well, he didn't say Afro cowboy. If the nigga would have said Afro cowboy, I'd want to stomp his head in. But it's just crazy the stuff that they do, man. So we gotta. This is why we gotta debunk this shit hella hard. And I'm about to put you up here real quick, but put him up here, man. And he about to show some of these dope sources, man. Go ahead, boss man.
So we can use the one from the first-hand account from the African. Just so you guys know, this is coming straight from newspapers.com. I just clipped it, right? So it's the News and Observer in Raleigh, North Carolina, and this is back in '68. So as you can see, I'm gonna just show you his name real quick. Excuse me. So his name right here. So you guys, you can see he's a native of Biafra, and this is the title of the article. It says, "To him, Black American is still a YT man." So I was just trying to get through this as best I can. So it says, "It is natural for a BOK American to want to be linked with African ways of life. It is natural for him to glamorize the BLK-ness of his skin, but in his quest for this link, he has started with the wrong foot in the right direction." Mind you, so he went to school in North Carolina, so that's why you're gonna see you walk the streets of Raleigh, Durham, or Chapel Hill, and you see faces that remind you of someone you know back at home in Africa. Soon you realize that the person you see is not an African. For his dashiki looks strange, and if a girl, her hairdo is un-African, but she is BLK and she is proud. Scroll down real quick.
You can say black in my opinion over here because I be going off.
You know what I'm saying? All right. So, to the majority of Black Americans, you talk Black when you speak an African language. You look Black when you have an African haircut or wear African clothes, and you walk Black when you walk like Tarzan. The Black girl is never called negress here as we do in Africa. She resents it very much. She is either a Negro or Black. So next, this one is about Black culture, right? So it says, when you are told that Black is beautiful, what do you understand by it? To the Black Americans, it means that a longing for things Black and a move towards African culture and heritage. If the message does not sink deep enough, you're reminded that I am Black and I am proud, and so goes the endless admiration and slogans the Black American use to reinforce Black awareness that is just now sweeping across the nation. Now, that part is going to be important on one of his next articles, which is going to be a short one. But so it says, the symbols of Black awareness to soul brother and sisters are the Afro-American hairdo called the bush by the girls and the afro by the boys. The long and conspicuous chain, the dashiki and the spear. All this to Black Americans is African. But to me, as an African who has lived in Africa and worked in Africa, many of these symbols of Africanism are to a great degree very un-African. Let me scroll up real quick for y'all. And so now it says, not the same. True, the African girls wear their hair long and plaited. The African boy's haircut is shaped, but none of these resemble what you see here. Excuse me. Sorry, I'm getting a phone call. I'm canceling real quick. All right, so it says true. The African girl wears their hair long and plaited. The African boy haircut is shaped, But none of these resemble what you see here as African American or the Bush. Uh, so it says if the Black Americans Africanism is a term of of hairstyle, it is un-African. So too are many of the African dresses or dashiki. The dashiki, the way they wear them, only give the appearance of a jungle dance group. Only give the appearance of a jungle dance group. But this mistaken imitation of Africanism is understandable. For most of the time, the styles are copied from TV programs which do not to the African represent the life in Africa. The Africans have spears, yes, but the spear is not an article of dress in Africa, nor is the spear carried about by. Let me scroll up for you. It is not carried about by Africans wherever they go. Rather, the spear is used for hunting and on festive occasions for acrobatic display. To a person in the Western world whose only contact with African culture is through the television programs, the notion of the African mode of life is bound to be wrong. This is true of the Black Americans' quest for African culture. Scroll down. So now the next section is called very, very clothes. Like every other people, the Africans have different clothes for different occasions. There are clothes for festive occasions, for schooling, for leisure time, for wedding and marriage ceremonies, for working along girls. Such vivid shapes as purple, red, and orange are at home clothing that is sought after. Velvety shapes, I don't know that word, or whatever, and brocade are the type of clothing the women wear on festive occasions. For the men, color is not as important as it is for women, but a combination of strong cotton patterns give the man a masculine appearance. In such places as Washington or New York, where there are many Africans, you can easily scroll up. You can easily distinguish an African from a Black American, not by the way he talks, but by the way he dresses. As for the African woman, you cannot mistake her for a Black American, even when the two dress native, as we say in Africa. Now, that dress native part is very important, but I just found something new on that. I'll show you that later. But the other few clippings are good enough because you're going to be able to see the law, one of the laws, and how it affected it. But let's just say, take a trip. The dilemma of the Black American trying desperately to be African, perhaps to be solved by contact with Africa itself. Take a trip to Africa and you can come back a different man in relation to your outcome as to how the Africans dress or how they cut their hair. Such a trip will introduce you not only to African mode, but of dressing, but also to African culture. For if the Black Americans want to dress African, they should also dress and cultivate African tradition. At present, this much is lacking in their dressing from what I've seen. Go up. We almost done, y'all. Okay. In Africa, a Black American is regarded as a YT man or white man. Of course, he is. The way he dresses, the way he talks, the way he walks make him that to the African. The color of the skin is not what makes one an African. It is the culture and thinking and the pride that goes with it. So now it says the Black American, is that something?
You might my bad. CR, you might not know you up here. I'm gonna drop you down. I think he in the background. He may not know he up here.
Oh, my bad. I just started. I'm like, coins. I'm broke. I'm just playing. All right. So now it says a culture gap. The Black American cannot successfully acquire the African mode of dress without the acceptance of the culture that goes with it. It is this gap that creates his obvious dilemma. Black is beautiful, but it is not enough to say so. One does not produce black beauty just by buying flower cloth and giving to a wife or a girlfriend a soul of a dashiki. But that look of elegance which the Black American is seeking in African dress and hairdo can be can be best achieved by wearing the kind of clothes that are truly African and by the hairstyle that go with such clothes. Just now, the dashiki and the Afro American Bush or the Afro have not changed the Black American very much. To me, as an African, he is still a white man. So that's one of them. And next, I'm gonna go to this next one real quick. I don't know if you.
All right, yeah. So yeah, no, I like the article for the next one. Uh, find for us the parts about the afro, and let's kind of stick to those particulars, and instead of doing the whole article. It was a great article.
Okay.
But yeah, let's try to see if we can get to those afro points. Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
these are strictly Afro right here. Anyway, this one is from 1973. This one is from 1970. So I'll read this. So it says Afro is un-African. So modern girls in Africa are adopting a new fad imported from the United States. And, oh, this is gonna work well with this next one. Yeah, this is gonna work well. So modern girls in Africa are adopting a new fad imported from the United States, and some of the militant nationalists are denouncing it as part of a cultural invasion. Are denouncing it as a part of a cultural invasion by imperialist and capitalist America. Reports Washington Post correspondent Stanley, whatever his name is. It says the fad is the so-called Afro or natural style or of hair worn by many Black Americans as a symbol of pride in their African heritage. But evidently, the style is about as African as chow mein in is Chinese. African women usually crop their hair short or plait into a stiff strands. In the past, if they really wanted to be chic, they'd straighten it into the latest Paris and London fashions. This new fondness for an Afro hair style amongst the smart set has come about not because it is African, but precisely because it is not, says Meisler. Next they'll be telling us that nobody even heard of Black Panthers in Africa either, right? This is the 1971. This is where they're going to reveal that it was literally outlawed in some of these different states. And then the last one I'm going to show you is just one how literally the regulations affected actually just bring stuff in, and also pretty much it's going to dispel that like the whole hippie movement and all that stuff that we had in the 70s is going to show that they wasn't allowing this.
All right, but hold on. Okay, I'm glad you got all this, and I do got I don't have a lot of time, but I got a lot of things I kind of got to go over, and I didn't know you were gonna have as many articles about it, but I think they're fire articles, and I think that if I have more time, you can come up and try to present those as well. But if you want to send them and I can read them as well, you know what I'm saying.
Where do you want me to send them to? You want me to just direct message them to you?
Yeah. If you want to, you know what I'm saying, or if you got content, if you got content, in fact, if you got content that you've made using them, I'll go watch your content and support your content. But if you haven't got anything up with it, if you want to send it my way, I can look through it as well.
I don't have any content, but I'll just send them over to to you real quick.
And I'll tell you what though, those will be important because, like I said, I'm going to be doing this documentary about this Afro African music thing, and if you want me to use those sources, I'll throw y'all, and that goes for anybody else. If I use any of your sources, I'll put you in the credits in any of documentary or something like that. You know,
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, and I'll send you some other stuff because I also have like reports from Zambia, Uganda, Sierra Leone, and I have the law from Sierra Leone, and literally is some of the males were going. They were literally so strict they were banning mini skirts to bell bottoms, all the stuff that we was rocking were.
mm.
You couldn't. They couldn't. They. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot, but I got you.
Yeah, no,
Appreciate
real.
you giving me time.
Yeah, no, real talk, real talk. I appreciate you coming up and showing that, and that's important for these people to know because these receipts, along with knowing how this fraud, that's gonna help again un-Africanize this bullshit they've placed on
Exactly.
us, and just breaking up that one word with receipts and definitions and all that. That's gonna kill a lot of that. How they, because then now they got to come up with the reason why, how y'all been copying up from us for real. Y'all literally stealing the words afro and everything, fro and everything from us. And we not gonna allow that shit to happen, man. So nah, yeah, y'all follow Jay Lamont, man. Give him some love, and all that, man. So I appreciate you coming up in here, man.
Most definitely. And lastly, lastly to go along with it, I can throw you a 1967 receipt saying race and nationality, and it literally shows that the Latin race, Negro race, and the Indian race were all dark complected, and it says Indian race or red men, dark complexion, literally.
Mm-hmm.
In
Mm-hmm.
1967, dark complexion for all three. But yeah, I
Yeah,
appreciate
no,
you
that's
giving me
real.
time.
Appreciate that, man. Yeah, and there's a lot of people in the chat asking about the articles. If you want, you can kind of scroll through there and
Yeah,
hit them up if he wants to. And yeah, y'all, if you hopefully y'all got screenshots, and if you didn't, you can go back to the live stream that I did on YouTube about this. He'll be up on YouTube and Twitter, and y'all can screenshot it and find keywords and put it in newspapers.com. That's where you're gonna find it.
exactly. Yeah, I'll send those I'll send like three or four receipts for you guys, and then it'll at least like show you that like this was legitimately outlawed. I'll send you to Sierra Leone, and then the Malawi one literally it shows the distinction of like how strict the haircut was, and then you can tell it's an afro. It's anti hippie basically. But they
Yeah,
take it further.
yeah.
They'll deport you or prosecute you if you wanted to come in and trade. But I
That's
appreciate you giving me
why.
time, Sam.
Yeah, appreciate that, boss man. I'll talk to you next time.
All right, bro.
All right, boss. Bet. Yeah, that no, appreciate that, man. Y'all follow Jay Lamont, man. That's some real, and it takes time to find these sources, y'all. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you can go to newspaper.com and type the word Afro in, but it's gonna pull up a ton of searches. Do you know how many random things it's probably talking about Afro Sheen and Afro this and Afro blah blah blah. You know what I'm saying? So to dig and search and scrape and find these articles, man, takes time, man. So I appreciate Jay Lamont coming up here doing that. And I appreciate y'all, man, for giving them that support. So yeah, we gonna get onto this Geeche thing here. That's the subject for today. But that fro thing, like if like with the like when Pim showed that nigga having a being an African cowboy, I started instantly thinking in my head like they could, if they start figuring out that we did every single genre, because I don't even think they really know it yet. Like they probably still think rock and roll is still really white. You know what I'm saying? So when they find that out, right? And that becomes, because they probably only starting to popularize the cowboy thing because of some shabuzi or something, right? So let's just say some African starts to act like a Metallica player or something. You know what I'm saying? And then they start saying that they're the African you know rock band or whatever. Then there's people eventually gonna start making articles about how we have African ties to rock because of, you know what I'm saying, and we can't let that shit keep going on, man. That would make me go through the fucking roof on these folks, man, because you're not about to steal our history in front of our eyes. Like literally, they're stealing our history in front of our eyes, and they're trying to anyway. It ain't about to go down no more like that. It ain't about to go down. They done already stole enough. You know what I'm saying? Y'all know that. Yeah, they done already stole all the other shit, which is crazy. So let me find my little receipts here. Okay, so let me probably gonna start off right there. Yeah, we're gonna start off right there. Well, first of all, I want y'all to know this because we're talking about the Geeches, and I was doing more research on your boy. I thought I had his whole photograph up right here, but probably not because I got it saved in what you call it. But on your boy Lorenzo Dow Turner's book, okay, Africanisms in the Gullah dialect, right? And I was getting more onto him. He ain't never stepped foot in Africa. Okay, and the whole thing is he was supposed to be have studied the links between these African languages and these Geechee people, but he didn't step foot into Africa until supposedly 1951. This book was wrote in 1949. So then you have to ask the question, what Africans did you study to make a goddamn connection, right? What kind of Africans did you study? He studied the white folks in London. Okay, that's what I found out. He got grants and stuff. Let's see here. Right here, let's see. Turner's book means the end of the theories of African culture with no left trace left here. Turner made recordings of African songs. Let's see, he found the. That's not gonna tell me there. I wasn't expecting to talk about this, so I don't have the receipt direct right here. Sometimes writing his own lexicons and grammars. He went to London and Paris to learn the actual speakers from the actual speakers, including 20 natives and several African reared members of missionary families. According to this, he went to London and um he went to London to learn the Geechees had a language. Now let's think about this, y'all. How many times did Africans like to sit here and flex to say, we got thousands of languages, nigga? Thousands. I can speak 20,000 of them. Lying asses, right? I don't even think they got thousands of languages like that. But right, but I like to kill them with their lies. You know, just like Afro is African. Nah, we done fucked them up with that. But I like to kill. What's up, C3 Mommy? I didn't say what's up to you earlier. What you say? You do got it. You got the source up. An old dude with the Gullah Geechee language. Oh yeah. And C3 Mommy was going even deeper, and that's what I love, man. When y'all go even deeper on some of this stuff, man, because I ain't got time. I got time. And don't get me wrong, I'm going deep on things, but sometimes I don't even think about going at the angle she thought of. Like I read who these people's names was and where he was from, and I stopped there, and that was already red flags enough. But then she goes and looks up who these individuals in London was, who these YT men and women was personally, right? And finding the real and man, yeah, I love y'all, man, for that. So yes, we're gonna have to do a cook up on that. Pull up the picture of the lady he learned from. I don't remember the name. You go if you got time, send it to me in my inbox. And I don't think I know I didn't screenshot it when you was showing it because I was out working. I was out working. I couldn't do all that. But I was listening to in my ear. But yeah. She gonna pull that up. But yeah, so he never learned so he learned 20, so he learned from so-called 20 people, not 20 languages, it said here. He learned from 20 natives, right? So how many times did they say there's thousands of languages in Africa, right? So There just so happened to be the right actual languages that the Geeche spoke within the ones in London. You lying bastards. Nah, nah, nah. I'm thinking Lorenzo Down Turner done went up and down the motherfucking and instead of in C3, instead of you DMing it to me, you can come up here and when you got it and show it up or whatever. But yeah, yeah, like so think about that. Like he went to, I'm thinking of, when I was first thinking about this, I'm like, you imagine Lorenzo Del Turner like mobbing through the motherfucking huts. You know what I'm saying? Playing, because that's what they did in the documentary, even though they was bit bullshit, but Opala and them in the bullshit ass documentary they did, they went around playing this song through multiple different tribal huts and things, and all of a sudden on the last day they just so happened to come up on the Ngola tribe, as if they had been using the word Ngola forever. Whatever. But then they just so happened to come up on the tribe and played the song after such exhaustion and found a hit on it. You know, that's what I thinking Lorenzo Del Turner did. Nope. Nigga went to London, randomly had 20 Africans up there, and I guess some of them must have had the Geechee dialect on hand. They must have spoke broken English, right? Because patois, Jamaican, or original Creole, or whatever it might have been called, right? I don't want to, whatever, but that's what they must have spoke, huh? Up there in London at the time, huh? That's funny. He said, oh yeah, 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 yeah. So that's funny. And then you also got to think about they bringing people from Liberia and Sierra Leone. Liberia is a place that we don't went to. I think I see some similarities. Of course, nigga, you sent niggas over there. I think you see some similarities. I think I hear some similarities. They're speaking English together, but it's broken. But the brokenness of the English sounds similar in brokenness. Who paid these niggas, man? Who gave these niggas grants? Because he got a grant. Lorenzo Del Turner got grants to go to London to get learned from 20 Africans who were under the guy or under the whatever of these white T folks that C3 done found. And so you really got to think about the bullshit and the links that they go to for the bullshit. They didn't just say, hey, I need you to make this fake book. You know, I know you're gonna try to tie these languages together and you're gonna be making some shit up as you go along, but we're gonna give you a healthy grant. And we're also gonna fly you to London so it looks official because the society that's propagating it is in London. So we at least gotta bring you there. We're gonna sit you down, let you have some drinks, get some food, probably get on some of these European little skinny washboard hoes. And then after that, you'll go back home a little bit more refreshed in the African languages. Wait a minute, what? In the African languages? I ain't even stepped in Africa. You know what I'm saying? So that's the craziness. But I'm gonna tell you like this. I'm not surprised because when I actually first read through the book, I skipped a lot of the little preface stuff. So that's why I didn't really hone in on like him being going to London and all this other stuff before. When I first, a lot of times, because y'all see I do a lot of research and stuff, so you got to be able to skim but still try to get the meat and potatoes, but there's going to be a lot of nuggets left behind, you know what I'm saying? But when you're doing your skim game, but that's how you can get through a lot of sources, you know what I'm saying? Like I'll pull up a book, I'll go through the table of contents, that's my thing, and I'm gonna hit certain chapters. Why I need to read them all? Sometimes they just got 2 or 3 4 chapters of prerequisite bullshit that I ain't even trying to look at. You know what I'm saying? But in there might be some nuggets that I may miss. You know what I mean? So, but when I first read through his book, I was reading through the chapters and the words and the connections he was trying to make, and I was like, "This is a bunch of bullshit." And in fact, I want to even, you know what? Fuck it, because I thought I was gonna be doing something, but they're doing something, so I got more time than what I thought. We could talk a little bit about that because I'm gonna show y'all some of the things that I started to look up and started to think because I was like, okay, so you got these African words in this newspaper that they say were in Africa. So, man, I don't know if I have them. Okay, the like this. Let me get my thing out. So that what I noticed is that the newspapers had certain words in there that it said we got from and that Lorenzo Del Turner. So like Pojo, Pojo. They said and Kuta means tortoise or cooter. So you see these things like that, or in jigger or jigga. They said that means they said it's a Congolese language, or bitty bitty for a chick is means in a Congolese. And I said bitty is really birdie because they said it's a bird. But I remember when I first was reading this, I was like, bitty bitty, what the fuck? Why would they say bitty for a bird? I was like, oh, you mean birdie, birdie, like bird, but they saying bitty. And then I really sat back and was like, these niggas is bullshit, man. This is bro, just a slightly, dialect of English, English or whatever. So, but then I got another idea. This is the idea I got. Wait a minute. If he put the words in his dictionary and he says this word in Congolese means bitty bitty. Let's do it right now. Bitty bitty. They said bitty bitty in Congolese means chicken. So that means I should see the word bitty bitty in a Congolese dictionary referring to fucking chicken, right? Because he put it in his book. So what do you think I did? Y'all know what I did. I found the Congo dictionary. Where they at? 1887 Congolese dictionary. And the word bitty isn't in the book. Huh. Says Congo language. It's clearly from before Lorenzo Dal Turner did his book. But if he's telling the truth, the word should hold stable the way through. Bitty, a fucking bird. You fucking liar. But see, you didn't have niggas like me that was gonna pull this shit up back then. I did the same thing with other words. Let's say like goober. Let's say, what did they say? He said goober. Actually, they put in the newspaper that a goober, and goober wasn't even in his book, but they had put the word goober up there. Let's see if I can find another. I did it for several of them. Oh yeah, they said peanut was goober or something like that. And then here he says Oceano was a nut or whatever, and oh, gooba. That was the other word. Gooba was a peanut, is what they tried to say. And then they put in gooba. I told y'all they would put the in front of things. Like, whatever, man. I think it's all a bunch of bullshit. In acne and in gamma. Get the fuck out of here, dude. Y'all done came up. Who puts that many ends in front of everything? Yeah, y'all done came up with this shit for these people, and you're playing games. But okay. But they said that peanut means gooba in Kim. Kim is Kimbundu. So that means in the Kimbundu dictionary, I should find the word gooba meaning peanut or in gooba, right? Let me see. I think I did go to the Kimbundu dictionary. I thought I did. This is the Mandinka dictionary. I think I made that a screenshot. I don't even think the word was in there because the word wasn't likely to fuck in there. Let's just do it real quick. Or maybe either that or there wasn't no readily available Kimbundu dictionary. Let's just double check. Kimbundu. All I got to do is catch him in at least two or three fuck ups and makeups, things he done made up. And I can pretty much call him bullshit for the whole book. Because think about it. You never went to Africa. So you don't even have any authenticity to even say that any of these words are come and have these connections, that these are even real words. And especially if I'm not finding them in the goddamn dictionaries. Okay, yeah. So you can see that I clicked on some of these Kimbundu. There was a Kimbundu dictionary right here. But yeah, I do remember it wasn't like a dictionary. It's like some kind of word phrase thing. So I still typed the search in for the word and it didn't come up. And this one here, another one, it's not really a dictionary. I still did the search thing. We can still do it. What was it? Gooba or something dumb as hell? What the hell was it? And really, to be honest, I need to do it for more of his things because I'm preparing for a Geeche documentary, and I gotta have a lot of shit. This might even be like a docu series, 3 episodes, because these niggas be pissing me off. These niggas, when I post on my Twitter, boy, they be pissing, and sometimes on YouTube, be pissing me off. We some Africans. You don't know who the fuck we is. How you gonna tell me who I am? I'm in South Carolina right now. Shut up. Okay. But okay. Oh, tote. That was another one. But we'll get back to that. Oh, that's the Umbundu language. And I did find that was the only one in the Umbundu language where I found tote, carry in 1885. That was the only one, but it's tuta for carry, which means tote, right? He says tote, tote, meaning we say the word tote and it means tote. But no, they say tuta and it means tote, like we say to tote. I'm supposed to see tote, carry, right? That's not what we see. We see, if you don't see, y'all see it right there, it's highlighted. But we see to tie, okay, which means to carry. Somebody done added in tote, okay, but that means it's English. That's tote is so because let's look because that's one of the ones they really say. They really wanted to bring that. Like I would always see that in the damn newspaper form. Oh, we say tote means carry, just like blah blah blah. Y'all niggas, boy, y'all be BSing. Let me type the word tote. It might come right up. What is up, dude? What is up with this operating system, man? Right there. Overseers heard them say and learned to tell them to the word was tote. Oh, god damn it. Right here. Told them to the overseers. The first says the Negroes landed at Jamestown in a year and a half in the Mayflower, the Plymouth Rock, putting them into the work and carrying loads. Probably the first words the overseers heard them say and learned to tell them was tote. The first ones the overseers heard them say was tote. So if they said tote and they didn't say two-tie, nigga, then they was speaking English. Okay? This is crazy. This is really crazy. You said I'm so glad you're doing a documentary, Sam. I'm ready for it already. For real, man. We gotta put this Geeche shit on ice. Said it should be a series. No, that's for real, nigga. For real, for real. So Toad, okay, and let me see if there was another one. There probably was another one that was him right here. That's the photo of Lorenzo Del Turner. Yeah, look. He's got words in the background. Pojo, Tota, but that ain't what you put in the word in the what you call it. Okay, and it's Tuta, and it's not tote. It's if they said tote, that's not an afro. Tuta is not tote. So if Tuta is tote, is a TT tote too, or is that a TT? So when a girl wears a TT, can I start saying it's tote? It's close. It's close enough, right? If we just gonna fucking just add shit in as it go, I mean, just fucking make whatever. But look at that tote, toe tie, tote when it's really two tie. He done added toe tie. He done added a O. How you gonna just change the O to the U to a O? You know what I'm saying? Well, I thought I heard an O in there. You saying it again? Tuta. Say it one more time. Tuta. Yeah, I think I heard an O in there. Yeah, I think I heard an O. Say it one more time, African. Tuta. Yeah, tote. Yeah, I think he said, "To get your ass out of here, man. Get your ass out of here, man." And Juke for like, come on, man. And think about how this is staged. Think about how staged this is. This nigga done run. Okay, I need you to write these few prominent words that we're gonna continuously bombard people with inside these newspaper articles. We're not gonna make them go through the whole book. We just need a couple of words there, toad, jukebox. Niggers love the juke, right? Pojo. They love a good pojo boy. A pojo boy. That's a po boy. A pojo boy. But so we're gonna put these words right behind you on the board here, right? And you're gonna stand up in front of it with a dictionary in your hand, like the Bible, okay? As you pose for this motherfucking bullshit. Did he learn this in London? Was this when the nigga was in London? Oh no, this is when he came back to an HBCU to teach the bullshit y'all taught him in London. We just need you to teach these words to them in the HBCUs. They don't need to read your full book. Okay. Write these words very large to take up lots of room on the backboard. We don't need much room for much else because then they might ask questions. Can you give us more words, Mr. Lorenzo? I would, but I ain't got enough room on the board right now. You know what I'm saying? We got to really know these words. Tota. Okay, let me get off of it. Like, look at like the propagandistic bullshit of it. And as you see it right there, toad, blah, 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 toad in a different way. You know what I'm saying? So it's basically when I read through these things, I smell the bullshit as soon as I open the first page of the books. Okay. As soon as I see the fucking title of the book, yeah, no, it's gonna be a lot of bullshit in here, but let's go through it but my thing is this: there's so many people that read this book, they be like, "Oh my god, this is riveting." There's really Africanisms in the Gullah dialect. Guys, did you know that they preserve the most preservation of Africanisms in their culture? You haven't read the book? I mean, technically, I haven't either. I just kind of looked at the cover, but you should check it out. Lorenzo Del Turner. There's articles about it. Okay, let me get off of it. So the reason why I got to go so hard about it is because I'm about to go into, because this is like even more so proving the deepness of the erasure. Because who are they erasing? They're erasing the Geeches. But the Geeches were used to erase other people. The Geeche term, I should say, was used to erase other terms like Yuchi, right? So it's just like the reclassification: colored, Negro, Indian, colored, Negro, possibly mulatto up in there, black, African American, right? We're gonna see how it goes from Euchee and other tribes, right? That ain't all the tribes of the Geechees, but let's say Euchee, because that was a big prominent one too, and Yamasis and others, right? Um, to Geechees, to Gullah Geechees, to eventually just Gullah. That's where it's going. Now you've erased the Geeche from the Gullah, and they're already doing it. There's this one dude I can show you in here. He calls himself a Gullah American. And don't get me wrong, yeah, Geechees and Gullah supposed to be two separate things, but technically the Gullah is just some bullshit, in my opinion. And the people up north from the Geechees down the southern part have just taken on more of the moniker and programming and brainwashing than some of the ones on a little bit southern. If I said that right, but from what y'all tell me, but the Gullah thing, unless y'all can find it in your tree, you know what I'm saying, that you got that African up in there, is a bunch of bullshit too. But either way, in the mainstream, it's used to erase because they're gonna put the spotlights on the niggas that call themselves Gullah Americans. they're not going to ask a goddamn question to the people who call themselves Geechees. That's where it gets to erasure. Hoping that you all will shut the hell up over a few more generations while we continuously keep spreading the Gullah American situation. And that's why this is very, very sinister. Very, very sinister. So let's go into some of these articles because is Billy Bowlegs Yuchi Billy? Or are they two separate people? Now, first things first, I want you to understand is when I was looking up the word Geeche and the earliest uses of the word Geeche, you see things like this Geeche Charlie. Huh. That's pretty distinct. They like to use the word Geeche in front of their name. I'm Geeche Charlie, nigga. That's me, right? Okay. Is that a one time thing? No. Here's Geeche Bill. Okay. All right. Let's see if we got any more. That one just says Geeche inward. Another, there's a Yuchi Charlie. Sounds very similar. It is. Huh. Oh, my shit is switching. Hold up. Quit playing with me. Yeah, I wonder. I mean, he went to London and saw all these Africanisms in London. I went to London and learned about all the ways you was connected to Africa. Appreciate it. But okay, Yuchi Charlie. Okay, all right. And notice that he's a sub chief. Go figure. Yuchi Charlie, a sub chief. Okay, all right, all right. What else? What else right here? And I found many others, if I'm not mistaken. But let's move forward. So then I started thinking about this. For those who don't know what I'm getting to, I have these articles about Yuchi Billy and Yuchi Billy. Let me go back to those articles. Mm, And let me just say this the word Yuchi can be found far, far, far back. You can't find the word Geeche or Gullah used in the newspapers prior to the mid 1800s at all. You will find the old Geeche River used all the way back 1700s. You will also find the old Geeche used as possibly a tribal name. I believe I have a document for that. Possibly it's like Ogeese, but used as a tribe or a name of somebody in a tribe in the 1700s under Oglethorpe. When under an article I have about Oglethorpe, but you can find Yuchi back all the way, going back, but you can't find Geechi. That's already one indicator that there's some funny business going on, right? Because the words sound very similar. They're somewhat similar area. You know what I'm saying? The maps kind of separate them now. They're more whatever, but either way, you can still, you see that. But Geechee doesn't get popping until sometime around the 1800s, and you got to start asking the question: when did the Yuchis start accepting the moniker or the name or the term of Geechee themselves? You know, but that's why many Geechees start to say that they're Yuchis because Geechee was really somewhat mostly the old Geechee River thing. But okay, but then you see stuff like this, Yuchi, right? Then I found something like this, Yuchi Billy. Okay, and then I was like, okay, Yuchi Billy, right? Yuchi tribe. Let me see if I find it. Here's the Chief Yuchi Billy. Now we're talking about Chief Yuchi Billy. Said I'm not African. Same name. I know that's right. Geeche. Same name. That's right. Exactly. Cr. We gonna. I'm pretty sure it is because he just so happens to be a chief. Yuchi Billy the chief, and y'all already know. I'm thinking, wait a minute, there was a Billy Bowlegs the chief. Was Billy Bowlegs called Yuchi Billy, and history has erased Yuchi Billy because they didn't want you to know he was going by Yuchi Billy, so he's been known now as Billy Bowlegs. Why did they change that? What or did it change? Is it the same person? So I'm still asking questions. I'm like, this was the war in Florida with General Jessup. Ain't that funny? Ain't that funny? Um, the war with the Seminoles and Billy Bowlegs was Chief Billy Bowlegs was with General Jessup in Florida. That's funny. That's, how am I finding so many similarities that Mr. Lorenzo Dalturner never? Guess he was too busy in London fucking on white chiefs, you know what I'm saying? Whatever women. But y'all know he wasn't over there learning nothing. He didn't go over there to London to learn. He was in Amsterdam in the Red Room. He went over there learning shit. You know what I'm saying? Fucking Lorenzo, man. Shit, his name. I don't even think I could trust the Lorenzo. You know, there's a nigga named Lorenzo. But anyways, so we have this Chief Yuchi Billy, right? And so I had did this whole thing. They was talking about the Indian War, whatever, and I had did a video about it. And I still was not. I was like, I'm trying to make a connection, and I really can't just make the connection based upon a couple of different articles. Got a lot. I got a restriction for 10 minutes. I know it was something I said. I don't give a damn. But and look at this sketch of Yuchi Billy, a Seminole chief. Billy Boles was a Seminole chief. Again, the other shit wasn't talking about Yuchi Billy being a Seminole, but now Yuchi Billy, the chief, is a Seminole chief during the same war as Billy Bowlegs, the chief. Was there two chiefs? One called himself Billy Bowlegs and the other called himself Yuchi Billy, and they just, they just like to use the word Billy. It's just the name to use as chiefs. I don't know. I was still kind of like, huh, right? But I need even more because these Gullah niggas, because the Geeches is cool. These Gullah niggas is going. I gotta drive it super deep into them. That's what she said. You know what I'm saying? In order, and no Diddy, in order to make sure that I don't give a damn when a queen quit watch this, you ain't gonna have shit to say. When a queen quit, she ain't gonna watch it. When a Geeche this or a Gullah this or whoever that watch it, you ain't gonna have nothing to say. You gonna be searching for new prime sword resources to try to debunk me. It's all gonna be bullshit from the 2000s. All right, Yuchi Billy. But I got two smoking guns we about to get on for this Yuchi Billy. It already looks like you can pretty much make the connections, right? Pretty easy, right? To make these connections. Another funny thing, look at this, y'all. Side note, as I was looking up Yuchi Billy in an article, one of these articles, yeah, this article right here, right? And this is all about Yuchis and blah, 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 right? Your boy noticed something else. Winfield Scott. You mean the Winfield Scott they tried to say Dred Scott was named after in that article, and I couldn't find out who the hell, what are the fucking Winfield Scott, but I didn't go searching real hard. I started to put his name in newspapers.com, but either way, he had nothing to do with the whole shit like that, but they tried to tie his name to him. But here's an article from Winfield Scott, and it's dealing with some Indians. So even Winfield Scott, along with Taliaferro, who was an Indian agent, and Emerson, who was in the War of 1812 against some Indians, was must have been headed by Major General Winfield Scott, who also talks about some Indian shit. How come I didn't find this before my documentary? Hey, I don't know. It just happens that way, man. But see how shit just comes up out of nowhere. This shit is 1836 random right below what I was looking at for something else. That's nothing but the ancestors. Nothing but the ancestors. You know what I'm saying? But okay, let's skirt past. Let me get to the other shit. When I tell y'all shit just be like right there, boy. It's crazy. So I started thinking, there's Geechi Bill, Geeche, oyster farmers. So even they knew Geechi was Geeche in the newspapers. Yeah, these people call themselves Geechi or Geeche farmers, oyster farmers. Oh, they could make the connection, but Queen Quet couldn't. They was making the Geeche connection back in 1904. Y'all missed that? Okay, all right, they missed it. So let's keep going. Let's keep going. Little Geechi, whatever, whatever. So I'm gonna tell y'all what I started to think. I said I gotta want. I wonder something. I said, y'all see this? Search for Yuchi Billy. Yuchi Billy can be found in the newspapers from. Let's see. Going back. Let me go back. As early as 1826, all the way up until about 1837. Now there are other articles in the newspaper. They're more later, and we're gonna get to one because it's a smoking gun too. But Yuchi Billy was talked about multiple times up until 1837. So when is the earliest did they start talking about a man called Billy Bowlegs? 1839. What's the difference? What's the significance? We now have a point in when they try to erase. If it's not if it's the same if it's the same person, we have a point in when they try to erase. If they're not the same people, Billy Bowlegs pops up into existence out of nowhere as a chief in 1839 being talked about. And they stopped talking about Yuchi Billy, the chief of the Seminoles. Huh. Something happened to him? What's going on? Right? But either way, we see a switch up. So I said, okay, that's another smoking gun right there that you stop talking about them. But this right here, and then along with this right here, that's 1837, this is 1891. Yeah, along with this right here, is gonna really seal the deal, in my opinion. Okay. So let's first get into mind where we're at. We have a Yuchi Billy, a Billy Bowlegs, both Seminole chiefs. One's a Yuchi, one's a Seminole, which is not really a thing. It's a Yuchi or Yamasi or Aboriginal element or a Creek or this is multiple different other tribes. It might be Temuco, it might be whatever. What you know, right? But we had these two people. One stops getting talked about at a certain point in time. The other one goes in history as the original person that they had to fight, right? Now, later on in 1891, let's take a look at something. Indian skeletons unearthed. Where are we at? We're in St. Augustine, Florida. Well, that's where the Yuchis was, along with other folks, the Seminoles, when the ones that stayed a lot by the Spaniards. They did be in between St. Augustine, going all the way up to like Charleston, Savannah, all along that coast kind of shit. They were doing excavations of some what? Earthworks or mounds, right? In 1891. Okay. They had unearthed two well-preserved skeletons. Okay, who are in, and they got certain people who are in charge of the work. Was once summoned and under direction, whatever. There's a considerable excitement over the blah blah blah. The officers found in charge of the work, blah 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 blah. Keep going down. Mr. Masters is a man of 35, 85 years of age, whatever. But it comes down here, says they talking about the first Seminole War. Well, we were just looking around the time of the first Seminole War and Yuchi Billy and Billy Bowlegs, both. I wonder what they found here. I mean, you already kind of see some stuff highlighted below, but I wonder what they found. Let's keep looking. The skeleton right here, the skeleton found yesterday said he must have been buried in their blankets without coffins or ceremony. And I believe these to be the body of Yuchi Billy. Okay. It says, and another Indian whose name I do not know, who died in the fort while in prison as prisoners. I have a special reason to remember Yuchi Billy. In a summer of 1837, I was with my company near Town Plantation, or where the present town of Port Orange is situated. We were surrounded by a camp of Yuchi Indians, and a fight occurred in which the Lieutenant McNeil, a son of General John McNeil of New Hampshire, fell at my side from a shot from Yuchi Billy at Yuchi Billy's rifle. The fire was returned, and one Indian and a squaw were unalive and several wounded. The tribe was captured and brought in, and afterwards, Billy unalive and was buried in the earthworks. Wow. So think about this. This dude is an eyewitness of who Yuchi Billy was. He's an eyewitness on who Yuchi Billy was. And they found his skeleton. I guess he's an old ass man at this time. Yeah, he said he's about 85 years of age. Yeah, Mr. Masters is a man of about 85 years of age and went through the first Seminole War as a sergeant in the first. And he says the skeleton found yesterday must have been buried with. And Mr. Yeah, yeah, Lieutenant McNeil. I guess whoever. I don't know who he's talking about. Somebody. He's either an eyewitness or he knows the eyewitness. Whoever. Okay. But these people knew Yuchi Billy, and they knew he was in prison, and they knew he unalived in a prison. So what else do I need to tie Yuchi Billy to Billy Bowlegs? Well, in the mind of me, I said, let me search Billy Bowlegs prisoner. The captured Bowlegs reports that the Indians left their camp in consequence of the 1837. Florida. Not calling him Yuchi Billy, they're calling him Billy Bowlegs or just Bowlegs, but he's captured. Well, ain't that funny? Yuchi Billy was captured. He also was a chief. He also was a Seminole, just like Billy Bowlegs. But when they unearthed the skeleton, they didn't say they saw Bowlegs. They said they saw Yuchi. Ain't nothing else these niggas can say, okay? Yuchi Billy is Billy Bowlegs before they called him Billy Bowlegs. And Euchees are Seminoles, which we know that. But we didn't know how prominent they were in the Seminoles, right? I mean, some of y'all may have known, but I'm just saying, based upon the mainstream narrative, they just some random ones. We don't know if he was a Yuchi, a Creek. I don't know. They were just so mixed together. We didn't know. Oh, you didn't know his name was Yuchi Billy, nigga. We didn't know all that. Okay, we didn't know. Okay, just know we didn't know. You lying bastards. All this shit is here, man. Goddamn. And then when you look up who's going to court over certain shit, Yuchis are going to court under the name Yuchi in the Supreme Court in 1956. Quit playing games. And they called them so-called Creeks. Let's get to that. Let's get to that. Because they tell you these Yuchis are the Creeks. Also, they the Seminoles, but neither one of those is real anything. And they gonna tell you that shit here. That's why the Yuchis is suing, not the fucking Creeks. Coming over here, let me give them a little whatever. The North American Indians do not and never have constituted nations. Now, is that true for the way past? I'm not 100% sure. I don't know if we called ourselves by nations. I know we had our own countries. Shatta had a country. We use the term nations now. Were we for real nations called back? Well, you know what? I don't know. It's hard to say because as I've gone through my studies through many of the historical narratives, I don't remember them calling us certain nations. I know there's one book I'm thinking in my head. I want to say they might have said the Florida Nation of Indians, but um typically I would just hear the tribe names. They would be in their own, would be referred to as kings, sometimes kingdoms, emperors, shit like that. Nations, I'm not sure, but let's keep going forward with what they're saying. As the word used, well, they said, okay, so the North American Indians do not and have never constituted nations as that word is used by writers upon international law. So but let's keep going. Although a great number of treaties, they are designated as nations. So although in a great number of the treaties, they do designate themselves as nations, but they have never been referred to as nations according to them, as well as tribes. Okay. It says, indeed, in negotiating with the Indians, the term nation, tribe, and band are almost used interchangeably. The word nation, as ordinarily used, presupposes or implies an independence of any other sovereign power, more or less absolute. An organized government, recognized officials, a system of laws, definite boundaries, and a power to enter into negotiations with other nations. They're saying that's what makes a nation. And in my opinion, I believe that we would have had a nation. Like we did have hierarchies. We did have a basic system of laws, Uh we had boundaries to a degree, on our land areas. We knew where there was certain tribes. There's been always tribes in certain areas, for some time. The power to negotiate with nations. So when the French bring their nation up into or their country up into here, you know what I'm saying? We'd be negotiating with them, shit like that. So, but they're saying that that's what typically makes a nation. It says these characteristics the Indians have possessed only in a limited degree. So it doesn't say that they didn't do it. It just says that they possessed it in a limited degree according to the Supreme Court's judgment, right? Okay, let's keep going. And of course, they ain't look as far back in history as we have. But let's keep going. And when used in connection with the Indians, especially in their original state, we must apply the word nation, a definition which indicates little more than a large tribe or a group of affiliated tribes, possession, 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 a common government. Is that what saying it? I guess they said I said it right. I'm like, the way they said what? Anyways, language, a possession, a common government language, and racial origin, and acting for the I think it's like acting for the people or whatever. I don't think I got the rest of it. But you would see that all the time. The words Creek Nation, as used in the Treaty of 1760 or whatever, stand alone might be construed to refer to the geographical location of 47 independent Indian tribes or to a loose war confederacy between 47 small independent Indian tribes or as a complement and flattery to the Indians assembled. So what they're saying is it's kind of like these, people they just using the word nation because it's a bunch of them coming together and they're like, yeah, this is our nation. But they're really 47 independent tribes. And that's kind of true to a degree because we pretty much like to be independent. Like we had almost I don't want to get into it because I don't have anything about it. But like we had it's like a decentralized government. Everybody knew the laws and rules, and whatever. But okay, but notice it's 47 tribes of the Creek. That's why they keep saying the so-called Creek Nation, the so-called Creeks, so-called whatever. Creek Indians, Creeks, Creek are all words having a general meaning. In each instance, to determine the meaning intended, reference must be made in context, if not supplied to blah blah blah. And one thing I hate is you got Tariq Nasheed out here. They're saying, I'm gonna see what y'all was saying down here. You got Tariq Nasheed out here, and I used to remember him. He's the one that programmed this talking point into some of it, into me and other people. And I'm sure some other ones and other people they would say, yeah, they called them Creek Indians because they was a bunch of tribes by the creeks. And I don't even know if that's true or not. You know what I'm saying? And I hate when people just blanket some small, simple ass fucking explanation over the shit. You know what I'm saying? But he was trying to say that ain't that they he at least somewhat had the idea right. They were a bunch of tribes that they was by a creek, so they're not the real tribe. But at the same time, man, that these people came together, okay? And I don't know if they called themselves Creeks or if the YT folks called them Creeks, but that's what he tried to explain it. The YT folks called them Creeks. But but as you can see, like I was showing y'all, that this is what they were referred to, but the Uchees are suing, and the Creeks are not being known as that. And also, I want to show y'all how the Yuchi. Oh, I gotta show y'all this. This is another thing I found. I gotta show y'all this. The Yuchi town site, Russell County, Alabama, an assessment of the impacts of looting. Looting the Yuchi town site. This is a report from 1990. Let me show you. They had to go excavate and try to preserve things because people were at the Yuchi sites digging and taking shit. Okay. But there's people that do that purposely. Remember, I showed y'all uh a video. I don't want to have to transfer it and all that. I wish it would just play through here in the sound, whatever. But I showed y'all the video from the Alabama Historical Society that when they did their excavations and they found all these items, they said somebody came through and stole a bunch of shit and left the little primitive shit that they can leave. Well, I don't want to. I'm not saying this is the same thing. I don't know if these are just people that went and looted, but you kind of got to really know where these Indian sites are and know that there's shit down there and know to take certain shit. You know what I'm saying? But like this talks about the Yuchi town is a large late prehistoric and historic site Well, ain't this the same Yuchis that are Yuchi Billy? Maybe that's why they trying to erase the Yuchis, because Yuchi ties you back to the historical ancient shit, and they can't have that. So you got to get rid of Yuchi Billy, call him Billy Bowlegs, the Seminole, which there ain't a fucking Seminole. They're Yuchis and other things, right? As well as Geeche's. We're gonna get rid of that too, because people who call themselves Geeche this, Geeche Charlie should really be Yuchi Billy, Yuchi Charlie, Yuchi this. That's why I showed that naming structure, right? And the Yuchi historical sites are being looted. The impact of looting. The primary focus is the impact of looting of cultural deposits of the Yuchi town. Ceramics dominate the recovered artifacts and symbols. Why did I highlight that? Because in the video of the Alabama Historical Society, they said ceramics were taken. They said they took all of these high quality ceramics. Why is it that word's in this here too? Boy, they know what to take, don't they? They know exactly what to loot. And what was left? What was left that they found? Just like in Alabama, they left arrowheads and shit. Oh, okay. I can't see those ceramics. I got you. I got you. I'm not gonna be able to see them ceramics, but yes. And this is talking about the Yuchi Town site, stuff like that. Oh, this is in Alabama. The Yuchi Town site is situated on the west bank of the Chattahoochee River in eastern Russell County, Alabama. So, very similar situation. You know what I'm saying? Man, boy, these people good at what they do. Let me see what y'all saying down here, man. Y'all ain't said too much. It said, y'all ain't just said same thing with the Ottawa Girly or IW Girly, founder of Black Wall Street. Yeah, old Ottawa Girly. I realized that if you just put an N in front of Ottawa, it's not a way. I said, oh, Ottawa Girly, because I did history on Black Wall Street in my 20s. I actually wrote a film about it. I still got that script. It's a long script. Um, and one day I'm gonna shoot that bitch. That one's gonna need like a lot of money and shit because you're gonna have to shoot it in the old town. You got to get that feel. You know what I'm saying? Like that's gonna be a real one. But I wrote that bitch. I wrote that. Now that's something because I didn't start writing. I learned about Black Wall Street long ago. I probably wrote that film maybe like 5, 6, 7 years ago, something like that. Something like that. Um, and but more recently though, now I gotta change shit to the story. Now I know I'm Indian and shit though. Cause I didn't when I was writing it, I damn sure didn't have that in there. So I damn sure gotta add all them elements. Yeah, I'm gonna have to rewrite that whole film. But I mean I ain't gotta rewrite the whole thing, but I definitely gonna have to freshen it up. But yeah, if you just put an N in front of his name, it's not away. Finish my last client for the night. That's what's up, Amore. What's happening with you? Said the nation had trading with other continents prior to the colonies. Exactly, exactly. So I believe we was nations, and they're a little bit downplaying it, but also they coming from the lens of a Supreme Court people who don't get me wrong, they probably pretty high up there. Some of them know the real, but some of them may don't. And the ones that know the real gonna hide the shit. Oh no, I thought that was the Oglethorpe. Uh, I thought I had the Oglethorpe source. But either way, I've been on here what 2 hours? Yeah, we hitting right at 2 hours. Restrictions and all. Fuck all y'all restrictions. Um, Let me look over here real quick with the YouTube fam, see what's up. And let me also see if my shit, what's up, y'all over there on YouTube? I see y'all over there. Let me also see if my shit actually hit Twitter because I had to, Twitter makes you pay for premium in order to live stream. So I said, fuck it. And I was paying for premium for a while. And then I stopped. I recently had stopped paying for it because I was like, man, fuck premium. Okay, it does show me live. That's what's up. That's what's up. Let me see how many people on. Okay, that's what's up. 30 people on the Twitter side. That's what's up, man. And then we got whoever we got 30 people in the TikTok side and 29 on the YouTube side. That's is that for real on YouTube or is that showing my hold on, I want to see if that's showing me my YouTube. I think that's showing me my TikTok. No, no, that's showing me my YouTube. 29 over there, the YouTube side of the game. What up, 29 folks? What's happening with you? I appreciate y'all coming in, man. What's up, Gia? How you doing? How you doing? If you just not getting in, you done missed about the 2 hours, and I'm about to get up out. I'm sorry, but it is also saved on my Twitter and saved on my YouTube. I do simul stream on all three platforms. I should probably stream so they use tribe or family in some literature. Yeah, and I should probably stream from other things too. Start putting myself on other apps because they got the option for all those. But yeah, man. So all in all, y'all, I'm getting ready for this. My finger numb from tapping. Appreciate that, Nikki. Numbing up the fingers for your boy. Uh, yeah, like I um I I do have my process down now for how I'm gonna do my documentaries and still do my content and still do my live streams. Like like when I was doing the Dred Scott one, I was just like deep diving into the Dred Scott shit, you know. And I was just like, I didn't feel like I had time to do the live streams. I didn't want to do this, but now it's like, okay, as I deep dive for each documentary because it's like every documentary I got planned, I already got it planned and I already got tons of sources, but there's always holes to patch up. So that's what I use that time for. And during that time, I get to make new content on what I find. So I'm kind of spilling the beans all the time as I find these things, but at the same time, when the documentary comes out, it's all gonna be put together because I'm sure a lot of the Dred Scott stuff y'all saw but still seeing it all into a chronological timeline and you know what I'm saying and seeing it all at one time instead of every I do a 10-minute video here and there and then a live stream and here and there and then it's like you kind of remembering bits and pieces and you got the idea and adjust. But that's why I like the documentary game. Like you get to present 1 hour or 2 hours or a docu series or whatever, something. And by the end, you're gonna feel like you know it, just like any other documentary out there. Documentaries be out there they don't turn people. Literally, documentaries change lives. They don't turn people into vegans. I was one of them. Some of y'all too. And if they didn't turn you to a vegan and made you eat healthy, you done saw some shit. Damn, what they do to that cow? Damn, and they do that to what? The pigs, nigga? I can't do this no more, man. Look, man, throw that shit away. Throw all that shit away. That's how powerful documentary. You'll throw some shit away. You know what I'm saying? You'll throw some shit away from that. So that's why I gotta do these things. And that's why I hold them in such a high reverence. Like we got to do as many of these as we can and tell these stories. And not just me. I want to get all y'all, man, different people in here. You know what I'm saying? And y'all, we being these subject matter experts, this decentralized information coming from the group, not coming from one head like a Tariq or coming from one major other person, because those people should be working with other people. And I'm not talking about like bringing them in for interviews type shit, because that's one thing, right? And that is what he's doing because he is the main one. It ain't like he know all the information. He's kind of working with everybody because that's how he's gonna get the information. First of all, he ain't finna look the shit up now. Come on now, he ain't looking things up, but he waits for the Pan Africans to tell him, like Dr. Short and Kaba Hiawatha Kamene and Dr. Umar and all the other ones, right? And then he makes his formulations on what he's gonna say, right? But they're all together, they're all in cahoots, in my opinion. But for his documentaries, it's a Tariq thing mostly, you know what I'm saying? And his points of views and few receipts. Whereas I want all of our documentaries to be heavy receipts and all also many of us participating telling these stories. You know what I'm saying? That's gonna hit harder to the folks out there. That's gonna be preserved through history throughout time. It's gonna change people. People should be able to watch the Dred Scott documentary and be like, man, they be bullshitting on that Dred Scott. And anytime somebody talk about Dred Scott, you can be like, hell nah, nigga, all y'all bullshitting. I can tell you the real story. Like the Dred Scott ain't gonna change your life like a what the health documentary type shit, right? Because it's gonna change some talking points for you. But when these Indian things come out, when we do this roots documentary, we are who we were, Indian roots, or whatever I called it. We are who we were, and the shit about the Afro shit with they Africanizing us through and how they taking our music and all of the genres and shit. That's gonna be heavily focused on genres, entertainment. And another thing we gotta do, like, I'm good at coming up with the ideas. I just really gotta, it's just so much. But if we can do Drewski like skits, like I come up with funny shit in my head all the time. It was little skit ideas that pertain to our shit. And it's just like, man, if we had these same little skits, just like, like the one he just did of them doing British actors, we easily can do one about them making Afro beats and stealing our shit, like having an African, you know what I'm saying, sitting in a room and and he's got some 1990s hip hop clothes on, you know what I'm saying, in a hut listening to motherfucking shit over time, and then this nigga, I don't know, I'm gonna come up with something. This nigga's listening to shit, then the nigga start performing shit and acting like Afro beats and all this other shit. I gotta make it funny, but we should be able to do similar like skits like that as well. Like I don't want to be doing all this, but I'm just giving these ideas out there to y'all. Like, if there's some funny people out there that's got, if you want me to shoot it, I'll shoot it. You got the ideas that you can draw up, you know what I'm saying? Some of these things, it's like we got to hit all these different mediums with our message. Cause a lot of people ain't gonna even look at the documentaries, because there's only certain type of people who look at documentaries, which are people who are really inclined to look at uh things on knowledge. And some people get to that point at some point in different ages, but in their ages or whatever. Um but what I'm saying is, like, a lot of people are gonna get it through entertainment. So like even with a lot of my movies that I'm gonna be writing, I'm gonna be putting in Indian facts and stuff like that. Like I might have them talking about the Dred Scott case as a side story in the fucking film or something, stupid shit like that. But that's how you shoehorn in the shit, right? You shoehorn in some shit about, like the whole Afro thing. I definitely gotta do that. I either gotta have a nigga walk in randomly with an Afro in a restaurant, and my two main characters start going into this motherfucking tangent on Afro and how it really ain't African. And I might even have an African there with him, and they arguing with that motherfucking, telling his ass, like really laying into this nigga. That'd be funny. That would be nice. Yeah, and I'm sitting there as a director, really loving it. Yeah, yeah. I'm telling the Indian actor in front of the African actor that I hired. Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna need you to really sell this. I need you to lay into him hard. Okay, you are angry about him stealing this shit. The audacity of these niggas, audacity. I need pure anger at this nigga on camera. Are you ready, Mr. African? I just need you to be African. Just be African. I know you read the script. Fuck it. Just do what an African does. Okay? It'll be good. Oh, I can't wait, but yeah, you did sign the contract, right? Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, I just need you to act this part out. Okay. No, I'm just playing, y'all. Can I share one more thing with you? I'm willing to for I gotta get. I ain't even gonna lie. I do gotta get off here. It's 7:30. I gotta catch a place before they close. I told myself I gotta go to the store before they close. They close at 9. But get with me, Jay Lamont, for sure. And we will said that could be a nice little side argument in the film. Exactly, Nikki. Exactly. So yeah, no, I appreciate y'all. I'm about to get up off here. Oh, and appreciate all the people who's been sending gifts. I ain't said not thank you to one gift. Thank you, much love to y'all. I can't even go through the list. I ain't got time, but I see. I'm scrolling through. I see Nikki. I see Lena. I see Lala. I see Swarthy. I see Tay Tay. I see y'all. All y'all. I see y'all. See y'all. I see y'all more. I appreciate it. I see y'all names. Other names in there. I just did a quick scroll. But I love y'all, man, and I'm gonna get off here. I'm gonna see y'all next time.